My goal is to wake OGs up to realize that, you know what, you have been comfortable for years and you have conditioned yourself to be at this place. My goal is to shake you up and open your eyes to understand that there's more to life than what you've been living, more to what you've been doing. And you have to break your subconscious, dig deep and realize, I want to feel better about myself. I put kids in college. I have set this career, but what about me?
Welcome to Impact and Fulfillment with Coach Mike D, where you'll gain practical wisdom and dynamic insight from amazing conversations to live your best life. What's going on, y'all? This is Coach Mike D with another episode of Impact and Fulfillment. And I have a dope episode with you. I have a dope guest. I have a brother who's doing amazing stuff, and he's carved out a niche that really needs attention, and he's doing it and he's living it. So therefore, he's not pushing people. He's actually kind of pulling them. You know what I'm saying? Because he's living the life. And I have none other than Coach OG, aka Don Burch. He's out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And when I said Coach OG, like literally, he has, if you've probably Googled anything or gone on Instagram, any type of OG fitness type stuff, he's probably popped up. It's a swole brother doing the stuff, man, talking about intermittent fasting, talking about nutrition, and doing things that are also tangible for us as we move out of our 20s and 30s. You know what I'm saying? We want to feel like we can still do all that stuff, but things do change a little bit, and we need to kind of change how we operate, and he's definitely going to dive into that. And so ladies and gentlemen, I have none other than Coach OG with us. What's going on, my brother?
Hey, what's up, Coach Mike? How are you, man?
Man, I'm wonderfully well, man. It's a pleasure to officially meet you for the first time. We've been connecting on Instagram, and I've been following and sharing some of the stuff that you've been doing. So it's just a pleasure to meet you in person. Well, virtually in person.
Likewise, my friend.
No doubt, no doubt. And so before we jump into your story, because I'm really interested in, kind of the backstory of what led you, to where you are today with regard to, OG Fit Club and helping, seasoned individuals kind of really achieve fitness greatness. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Before we jump into that, I like for individuals to give shout outs, because I'm a big believer in giving people their roses when they can smell them. So whether you have a team, family, whatever, give some shout outs of the kind of the wind beneath your wings, and then we'll jump into your story, brother.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. It's the first podcast that I had to give a shout out. First, let's give a shout out to my kids who got me who I am today, who actually empowered me to be an OG. My daughter, Dawn, and my son, DeAndre, and my two grandchildren, Alex and Amon. They're my wives. I push harder because of my kids as well as my wife. We celebrated 25 years this year of marriage. So yeah. So
congratulations, brother.
I have excellent support from my family. My dad, which is a pastor in Lancaster, Texas. I'm a pastor's kid, born and raised in Kojic. Shout out to him. As far as the fitness industry, shout out to to Orange Theory Fitness. A few years back, they took a chance on a OG. I was about 44 years old. They took a chance with an older guy that was brawny, big, and become a group fitness coach. I think that was a point where I started realizing I had a message. So shout out to Orange Theory Fitness, to my family, wife, dad, mom. I love you guys.
Man, look at it. And I'm gonna tell you, I love the fact that, again, wife and kids, like my wife and kids, they're my why. You know what I'm saying, with regard to what I do. And one of, you mentioned you've never been asked to give shout outs in the beginning. About a year and a half, 2 years ago, I interviewed a guy, and he's a stunt motorcycle rider. So if you saw like Bad Boys for Life, I don't know if you remember the scene where Martin threw the bomb and the motorcycle got popped the wheelie and picked the bomb up and threw it back.
Yeah.
He was the one riding the bike that picked the bomb up and threw it back at Martin.
Oh, okay. That's cool, man.
Yeah, he's a motorcycle rider. But one of the things that he mentioned was, he said it's interesting in the movies, if you watch movie credits, all the important people get listed up front before the movie starts.
Oh.
That's one of the things that always it resonated with me. I was like, that's why I'm always going to do it like that.
Okay.
We want to make sure to give people roses when they can smell them, but let's put the important people up front. then we can jump into the story.
I like that, Mike. I like that. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah. No doubt, man. And so speaking of story, man, and you mentioned a little bit about, your kids being your inspiration for, getting yourself in shape. And then what happened at
Mhm.
around 44, with Orange Theory, right?
Right.
Yeah. Talk to us a little bit about what really jump started your fitness journey, man.
Okay. Just to let you know what I believe, and I honestly, truly believe that every man, every person over 35 can look good, feel good, and be good. And I believe that looking good is all about external. It's one thing that motivates us because we look in the mirror like, what happened? Then you start, saying, I'm not happy. It goes into the feel good, and then the be good is knowing who you are mentally, knowing who you are, period. And I believe everybody over the age of 35 can achieve all those things. We just got to be aware of it. And that's when it all started for me. So just to give you some more history, I haven't always been at this place where I am happy with myself, or I'm, happy with the way I look, or even the way I feel. And the reason why I gave my kids a shout out, because ultimately kids don't know. Kids is just growing. You raise your kids, you put them in school, you put them in college, you do all you can do as a man. I'm from this. I was born in the '70s, so we was brought up. You work hard, you
Okay.
provide the bacon. If anybody's going to suffer, if anybody's going to drive a bad car, if anybody's going to have some run-down shoes, it's going to be dad.
That's
And
right.
that's the life I lived. And when you hit 40, and I started young. I started having my son was born when I was 24. So
Okay.
by the time I turned 40, he was 18 or 17. So he was ready to go to college. And I am at a point where, like, okay, he's out the house, just me, my daughter, my wife. Then I started realizing, hey, I done gained some weight. Hey, who am I? Because once you lose the responsibility of somebody else in your home, you start having more time to yourself. Start looking the man in the mirror, start looking at yourself deeply, and start realizing, hey, I let myself go. And I think that's what most men around about 35 and older, even women, start realizing that you gave so much to your family, you gave so much to your career, you gave so much to building this empire, but you forgot about yourself. And so OG Fit Club came from that. It came from that. It's more things that inspired it and pushed it. But once I started digging more into myself at 40, I'm 49 now. So 9 years later, almost 8 years later, it really became OG Fit Club, where people from the outside started learning what I preach.
Man, I'm gonna tell you that is so powerful in a sense that, and I like the transparency of understanding that we have various seasons in life, right?
Mm-hmm.
In a sense of, we think about, we prioritize our kids and raising and running behind them and doing this and doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And at times we do put our own care on the back burner, right? And, in the personal development space, one of the things that I've come to understand is self-care is not selfish, is actually selfish to not take care of yourself.
That's true.
And basically what you have exemplified with OG Fit Club is kind of that mantra, that philosophy, because the reality is, how good am I for or to my family if I'm not in my best self, if I'm not my best self? You know
That's
what I'm
true.
saying? What value
Absolutely.
am I going to bring to them? It's kind of like on an airplane. You put your mask on first before you can help everybody else. And so I'm actually being selfish by not taking care of myself, because then they're vulnerable.
That's true. I agree with that. Yeah, I
And,
totally agree.
and it's cool that you said everybody over the age of 35 should be able to achieve that. What type of pushback? Because I know, especially in the digital space, I know you get a whole lot of pushback, and they're like, oh, you must be taking steroids, or oh, you
Yeah.
must be, this, or we can't do that. Why, what kind of pushback do you get regularly, and how do you then combat that?
Yeah, when I started getting noticed, if you go to my Instagram page, even my YouTube page, I've been posting since 2009, maybe 2010,
Okay.
Facebook, and of course, then move on to Instagram. So I've been posting for a while. So if you need to do some research, it's there for them. But yeah, I definitely get a lot of, are you pushing steroids? Are you on whatever HGH? You're on all these different, enhancements for muscle. I'm natural as you can possibly get. What my steroids are is how Big Mama used to cook.
Mm-hmm.
If you follow me and you see what I'm cooking and what I'm eating home cooked foods.
Mm-hmm.
So how I managed that at first, it was kind of, shaking because you feel disrespected.
Mm-hmm.
What you mean? But I started thinking, and hearing other influencers talk about it. It's just if you don't have any haters,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have your actual mission, or you're not speaking. You haven't made a stance.
Come on.
So by you making a stance, you will produce haters. So the
Mm-hmm.
more hate I get, the more I know I'm on the right path.
Man, and that's so awesome. And the thing is, a lot of that comes from the confidence internally, right?
Yeah.
Because you understand that first off, you know what you do and you know what you put in your body. So I ain't got nothing to hide. I'm showing y'all everything. Like it is
Right.
what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The brother's blessed with genetics too. Like, I mean, I can work at it and all of that, and I eat good, right?
Right.
And so it's interesting that you look at it that, well, not interesting, but it's good that you look at it that way. But then once you start to understand that if you don't get some pushback, that means you're not shaking things up enough, right?
Absolutely.
And you don't grow when you're comfortable, right?
Right.
You have to shake things up, and you have to get people out of their comfort zone, or else they'll do the same thing they've been doing, between age 0 and 44 or whenever that you encounter them, and nothing's going to change. So you're doing what you need to do, brother.
Absolutely. I agree to that. Yeah, definitely. And that's one thing I do gauge. If I don't get comments, conflicting with what I'm preaching or what I'm saying, I maybe are joining the what word I want to say. I am saying things that are making people feel good about themselves. My goal is to make awareness. My goal is to wake OGs up to realize that, you know what, you have been comfortable for years, and you have conditioned yourself to be at this place. My goal is to shake you up and open your eyes to understand that there's more to life than what you've been living, more to what you've been doing. And you have to break your subconscious, dig deep, and realize, I want to feel better about myself. And I put kids in college. I have set this career, but what about me? What about me? I'm trying to wake you up.
OGs need love too.
That's,
that's the truth, hey, look, that's a t-shirt for you. You need love too.
You may see that post tomorrow.
Hey, come on with it. Look, dude, brother, it's yours. You look, you doggone Coach OG, so you can run with it, brother. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, OGs need love too. And I love the fact of, you're here to wake OGs up. And by waking them up and shaking them up, that means that, they have to do some things that they're not used to doing, right? And if we follow some of your journey and some of the stuff that you talk about, really, I mean, in the whole fitness space now, intermittent fasting is huge. Like that's one of the big topics that everybody, and most people don't even know what they're talking about. They just say, I heard intermittent fasting. People call it intermediate fasted. And I hear people say all kinds of stuff like, brother, it's intermittent fasting. But anyway, long story short, when we look at what you're doing from a nutrition perspective, intermittent fasting, but even more, some would say extreme, is the 1 meal a day. Talk to us about how you got to that point, and also how it has impacted your body, your physique, and how you feel.
Oh man, Coach Mike, man, ultimately this time last year after holidays, you know how we go in. You're from the South. You're from the South.
Man,
so
come on. Sweet potato pie, red velvet cake.
All of it.
Turkey,
I did all of it.
Dressing. We don't eat stuffing. Dressing.
And you ultimately go to about 3 or 4 different homes to have different servings of dressing. So this time last year, I the year flipped over. I gained like 20 pounds between Thanksgiving up to New Year's.
Oh, wow.
And I felt terrible. I felt swole. My energy levels was low. My focus was low. My whole body just felt like it was finna pop. And I also, in my mind, I'm turning 49 this year. I'm getting close to the age where a lot of my uncles passed. A lot of my friends are not living no more. My brother-in-law's passed because of diabetes. Uncles passed because of hypertension. All those things that we know as Black men, as men, period, Those things, once you get to 50, you got to get your colon checked,
Mm-hmm.
all the
Colonoscopy, all
prostate
of that.
check.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I know I work out, and I consider myself a gym rat, but I'm a gym rat that's getting fat. It didn't make sense to me. And I ultimately had a doctor appointment earlier that year. She's like, "You almost pre-diabetic. How's that possible? I can be pre-diabetic, but I'm in the gym burning all this energy?" And I realized at that point I needed to make a change. So of course I started dabbing into YouTube, doing my research. I'm a YouTube guy, and ran across several 1 meal a day. I had played with intermittent fasting before, but never took it serious. And so what I decided, Coach Mike, was my year of turning 49, every month I will do something to challenge myself. I'm from the sports background. I know I needed to challenge myself with something to keep me focused and motivated. So the first month, January 3rd, I said, I'm going to do 1 meal a day. Didn't have a program, didn't have a coach, didn't have anybody to instruct me. I just made a choice. My wife is like, "What?"
Now look, that question. Hold on, pause. Before you go there, this 1 meal a day, this was a solo journey. This wasn't wife and family. This wasn't everybody else.
No coaching, no wife, nobody prepping my foods.
Oh, wow.
It was me just saying, you know what, enough is enough. What's that cartoon character? Somebody says, that's Popeye.
Yeah.
Enough is enough. I can't stand no more, right?
And so I can't take this no more.
I can't take this no more. And so I jumped in, and it was scary, but I was able to make it. I prepped my foods. I use a food company. I'm not gonna give them a shout out because they don't sponsor no one.
That's good. I get you.
But I got a food prep company, so I made sure that I had foods available. But what I did was I made sure that I didn't do any calorie counting. I didn't do all the macro science, all the things with nutrition. I said, I'm just going to eat what I can eat so I can't eat no more. My goal is to have 3 sources of protein, 1 carb, and vegetables. And I started that path.
At one time.
One time. So at 6 p.m. In the afternoon, I started to eat. Around about 6:30, I was full and done. You can see my old posts, my pictures. It shows the food I eat. I filled myself up, and then fast all again from 7 p.m. to the next 6 p.m. next day. And
well, I got a question with that though. So so that's solid food. Now throughout the day, are you drinking? Is it just water only? Are you doing like coffees and teas and shakes and are you doing other liquids? Do you do other things like that and supplement things, or is it just that and you just hardcore water all day until I come back to eat again at 6 p.m.?
So pretty much the month of January, I have water and coffee.
Okay.
Water and just your black coffee. You go to 7-Eleven or whatever convenience store and grab you some coffee, zip on that, and you have your water. And that's it. That's it. So it's definitely not chewing or no gum or no other things, no protein shake, just no calorie drinks, period.
Really? So it's basically a complete calorie deficit. You stay hydrated.
Yeah.
But you just a complete calorie deficit until you get to 6 p.m.
right
every day. And when you first did that, how did you feel initially versus over time? How did your body feel when you kind of got adjusted to this regimen?
The first week was okay, because you have that mental rush. Your body does respond mentally. So the first week was all about just anxiety and just making it. The second week became more challenging. You get a little lethargic. You start questioning your own self. You start wondering how your body's changing. And I've learned through this year is that what happens is now your body's transitioning from burning carbohydrates, burning food that you constantly feed yourself, to now burning with the energies that's stored. So that transition period is the energy burning differential, if that makes sense. So now my body's used to burning the carbs, but now it's transitioning to fat. And fat burning does a different effect to your body. Your body has to make adjustments. That's why a lot of people go through side effects, changes in their body. Some people get headaches. Some people get flu-like symptoms. Some people get dizzy because you're breaking the habit, or you're changing how your body burns energy. Not only are you changing how your body burns energy, you're changing yourself, how you think and approach food. you almost like an addict. You're
Yeah.
breaking yourself from eating food.
Yeah, it's you know, you're basically, it's a pattern interruption, right? I
Right.
mean, you're literally interrupting a pattern. The thing that's interesting though, how did that impact other aspects of life? So did that, you know, impact like sleep habits? Did that impact like you know, like even so gym. So speaking of that, so you know, you're a gym rat. You know,
Yeah.
I go to the gym too. I like to get it into, right?
Right.
But
Right.
but the thing is, so did that impact like your strength or your endurance, or did you have to kind of tailor that down a little bit until your body got acclimated and then build back up? How did
Mhm.
one meal a day impact that?
You know what? That never impacted me the first month. The second month, I started to add keto lifestyle to it because
Okay.
fasting is when you eat,
Okay.
right? I didn't change what I eat. I just changed when I eat.
Mm-hmm.
Then the second month, I started changing what I was consuming. So I pulled away from carbs and started eating more high fat. That affected how I felt in the gym. But
Really?
beyond that, no, I actually started getting stronger. I actually started feeling even lighter. I started
Really?
feeling energetic. I mean, because my body was at a point where it was processing things internal. You know, I lost 20 pounds in about 2.5 weeks.
Really?
If you think about losing all of the water and your
Mm-hmm.
inflammation and all the gook in your system, I mean, you feel like a new person. I was agile. You know, I wasn't like when I was 20, but
Yeah.
I felt a whole lot better. My focus was even better. The first week does take adjustments. Again, it's like you're breaking yourself from habits. You're
Mm-hmm.
breaking yourself from an addiction of eating food. So
Mm-hmm.
mentally, you are struggling. But once you get past that and you accept your path, oh man, you can't beat it. I work out better fasted than I do with food in my stomach.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's fascinating, man. Like, and it's just interesting to hear that your strength didn't change, your endurance didn't change, but things did change when you went keto. And for those that maybe aren't fitness gurus, you know, keto is basically zero carbs or as minimal
Hmm.
carbs as possible. So you pretty
Yeah.
much high protein, high fat, and your
Yeah.
body is going into ketosis to find its energy versus using carbohydrates to fund its energy sources. And so that's fascinating. What happened there? So how did that impact your strength when you went keto
Oh
and one meal a
man.
day month two?
That impacted me. I started losing weight. I started getting crazy shredded.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to one of my posts, like my 18-week post, my body was I wish I could get back there. My body was so detailed
Uh-huh.
at the age of 49. I mean, I was almost straight stage ready. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't bodybuild,
Yeah.
but mentally focused. You know, I have a day job. You know, this is
Mm-hmm.
not all I do. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
work, you know, for a hospital organization. I'm an IT guy, and
Mm-hmm.
my job requires for me to be on point. I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
focus. I couldn't
Wow.
concentrate. And mind you, I only gave it 4 weeks, but you know, I gave it 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And I know if I probably would have pushed a little harder, I probably could have got past that keto transition.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, I realized it wasn't worth it. I realized at my age, you know, our patience is a little short. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yeah, absolutely. You figure that you find that line. It's like I look. I'm here. It's time to yeah. I've done it. You know, you've documented the journey. So
yeah, it's not for me. And
yeah,
so
yeah.
I decided, hey, at this point, I believe you know, being in a keto or ketosis wasn't right for me at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
And so I pushed on. I gained like 10 pounds after that because my body started back absorbing the carbs. You know, your fat, your muscle stores the glycogen, your water stores the carbs. So I gained about 10 pounds, got back up to about 226.
Mm-hmm.
But I realized that, you know, it wasn't for me. But OMAD, I stuck with it. I stuck with
OMAD is one meal a day.
1 meal a day. Yeah, I
Okay,
stuck
for those that don't know, when you said OMAD, people are gonna be like, "What the heck is OMAD?" But yeah, one
right.
meal a day. Gotcha.
One
Okay.
meal a day, and I still have to stick with it. Am I doing it 100%? No. I
Mm-hmm.
realized also as my journey go, it's something that you don't have to do every day. I definitely believe in coach the people I work with. You do it until you get to your goals. Then you can start having a flexible 1 meal a day. You
Mm-hmm.
can do 2 meals a day. But I always fast, no matter what. Pretty much, I fast 100% of the time. Meaning, I don't eat breakfast. I may wait to noon to eat, one
Mm-hmm.
o'clock to eat, depending on how I feel, what's going on that day, so I can be flexible.
that, and what I come to find, like during the week, I typically don't eat breakfast. So in the morning, I'll drink coffee and tea. And my first meal is typically around lunchtime. And I usually eat between lunch and dinner during the week. Now on the weekends, we're going to make it do what it do,
Right.
but
And
during the week, I do that. And I like the fact that you were transparent and talked about how the keto thing wasn't for you. The 1 meal a day works, but then you've also transitioned into doing 1 meal a day as your base, but you're flexible, right?
yeah.
And because I think what's interesting about, and this is what I find, especially when you pay attention to a lot of, people who are in various fitness regimens, they
Right.
have their thing and they're selling their thing, and their thing is the Bible for how to operate and get to your goal.
Right.
You opened up and realized that everybody is different no matter
Yeah.
what. And you got to find what works for you. Talk to us a little bit about that.
I believe in that. I believe everybody's different. Everybody has seasons. And I make sure whoever I'm working with, whoever I'm just talking to, where are you at? What's your goals? And then we can build around that. My goal starting 2022 was to get my body back healthy, get my, numbers correct in the blood, get myself, going and moving the way I should. So the goal was to go hardcore for 3 months, 1 meal a day. I need to change my body completely internally. I also changed my mentality to food. And once that happened, I got down to 215. I started feeling great. I knew how it felt to fast. I knew how the benefits of it. Now I'm at a point where I'm educated on fasting. I utilize it as my foundation, and I'm more flexible. So I'm not that one guy at an event not eating, or I'm not at the office. Everyone's eating lunch. You walking out, Now I'm more flexible because I have achieved my goals. Now I'm maintaining my goals, and I'm learning how to, to utilize fasting as a tool for me to stay healthy.
It's interesting the way that you talk, and I was explaining this to someone in the gym earlier this week, how the gym is my golf course. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I don't like playing golf and all that. I'd rather go to the gym and kind of mess around there for a couple hours versus go play golf. And one of the things of the things that I mentioned to the guy at the gym was that I train so that I can live better. I don't live so I can train harder. You know what I'm saying? And so to your point, the way that you were talking about the flexibility with your eating plan, again, you're based around the 1 meal a day, but you have flexibility.
Yeah.
So it's like if your son or your daughter wants to, talk over lunch or whatever, you're not going, well, I can't eat. I got to sit there and sip water and whatever. It's like, no, you can have a meal with your kid, or your wife is like, look, it's time for us to have a date night. And you just like, okay, it's after, you know what, we're going to have us a date night. I'm not going to trip because you do all of this so you can live better. You're not trying to live so that you can go and train harder.
Absolutely. It doesn't make any sense for you to have this awesome physique, but you're not celebrating with your people you love. I mean, why would you do that? I would rather have a notepad and have my family love me and cherish me than have a six-pack and they hate me. It doesn't make sense. So I also learned that in my process. You have to be flexible. The people you live with didn't choose to do 1 meal a day. The people you love and you work with didn't choose to be in the gym 7 days a week. That was your choice. So no one has to suffer with you because you decided to make this choice. Now, if you got goals, if you have ambitions, if you need to lose some weight because your doctor's saying that, hey, you will be sick if you don't make these changes, then we need to go hardcore. Then you need to tell your family, I need to live.
That's right.
Because I need to lose 30 pounds before this date because I want to be healthy. Then we got to go hardcore. But to that point, after you get there, then we can make some adjustments so you can enjoy life. Man, you can be, you can live because you made it. So celebrate yourself. Go ahead and have that red velvet cake. Go ahead and go get some chicken and waffles because you've been doing OMAD all week. What's wrong with Saturday going to your diner, getting you some chicken and waffles because you have done what you needed to do?
Man, come on. See, that was OG wisdom.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you have a segment that you periodically say, drop OG wisdom on a regular basis.
I need to.
But right now, what you just dropped right there is a mind frame for a lot of reluctant brothers and sisters and anybody who's, over 35, over 40, who's needing to make some changes in life. It's okay to give yourself a pass, especially once you hit your goals,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because you're doing this to live better. I mean, that's wisdom. You know, as we age, part of what we're supposed to do with our gray and, you
Right.
know, our becoming follically challenged and all of that kind of stuff is we're supposed to acquire some wisdom. And that
Yeah.
wisdom is life knowledge. And
Yeah.
what you just spit right there is life knowledge. This ain't gym knowledge.
Yeah.
This is life knowledge.
That's
That's
true.
right. That's what this
That's
thing is
true.
all about.
Yeah, I like that. I used to do OG tips. I like OG wisdom. I think I like that. I like the way that sounds.
You should.
I need to get my notepad out because you spitting bars, man.
Y'all check this out. So check this out. OGs need love too. And we need to have a segment called OG Wisdom with Coach OG. Oh, Coach OG with OG Wisdom on Friday. Whatever it is, you come up with something. But you gotta drop something.
Like that. I like that.
We need it, brother. We need it. And I ain't gonna take you too long tonight, but cool. I got one more question I want to ask. So in the fitness community, I also hear a lot of conversation around sleep, right? Okay. I've actually heard for a lot of individuals that are in the wellness space, they'll state that sleep is as important as what you eat and how much you exercise by like a magnitude of 10. Talk to us a little bit about the importance of sleep in the midst of all of this.
Okay, so let me back up just maybe a couple of steps because this has been a pet peeve of mine recently. I saw a post recently of a friend of mine. She posted somebody else's post where this guy comes out. He was making this egg sandwich or something, and he was fanning through his phone, and this lady popped up and said, "Eggs is bad for you. Eggs will make you sick. Eggs, you shouldn't eat eggs." He said, "Okay." He put his eggs to the side, so he started drinking water. Like, water is bad for you. You can't drink water. You need to have some minerals in your water. He put his water. So it went through all these different things. And one thing social media and what the internet does, it does provide information.
Yes.
It does provide all the things you need. You just have to be very careful in all the things you consume because it will make you into a robot. It will stop you from drinking water. It will stop you from drinking eggs. It will stop, to answer your question, yes, sleep is needed. How many hours? Some folks say 7 hours. Some folks say 8 hours. I think what we need to learn and what I've been coaching people, even with OMAD, I don't push OMAD to nobody. I changed my voice to say fasting works. OMAD is not for everyone. What I do coach is you try it. You figure it out for yourself. You experience it. You test it. How do you feel? How are you looking? It may work for you. This may be your season for OMAD. This may be your season for 8 hours of sleep. Let's stay on it until you feel different. So sleeping definitely is important because your body shuts down. Your body goes to a point where it starts recovering, and sleep is needed because then you start talking about your hormones. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a nutritionist, but you do talk about your hormones. You talk about recovering. You talk about being in a stable mind. So definitely sleep is important. If I was to suggest to anybody, what I do is I set me a sleep schedule. Like right now, you're tapping into my sleep schedule.
That's why we're going to shut this thing down in a few minutes.
Every night, no matter what's popping, no matter what the wife is doing, what's going on, I make myself get in bed by 8:30.
Oh, wow.
I don't care if I'm not sleepy because I want to make sure that my body, myself, my mind is at peace. And I get up every morning around about 4:30. Okay. That's my goal, to go to sleep or get in bed at the same time and at the same time I rises, because that's important. You want your body to heal. You want your body to go into a deep sleep towards recovering and healing itself.
Extremely important. And I love the fact that, again, it came back to the whole notion of nuance, how everybody is different, right? There are some people who need 9 or 10 hours of sleep to be optimal. But then there's some people who literally operate off of 4 or 5 hours.
Amazing.
And their body and their levels are fine. They're perfect. They're clear. They're cognizant, everything. And that's just what they need. And so I think hopefully the takeaways that people hear, well, basically the main takeaway that I want, especially the OGs that are listening to this conversation to hear, are that it's possible, right?
Yes.
Like, no matter how much of an elder you are, how young you are, how out of shape you are, what you've been through, what you're going through now, whatever, it's possible for you to change but you have to be committed to it. Just like Coach OG got committed to the 1 meal a day after he, had some levels that he needed changed or whatnot.
Yeah.
If you commit, you can change, but you got to be committed to something.
That's true. Commitment is it. Commitment, follow through, repeat. Don't ever stop. Know that it's a life. It's a life. I wouldn't say battle, but it's consistency with life. Loving yourself, to tell yourself, let's get up and let's do something. I mean, that's ultimately it. I mean, ultimately, you can do a little bit each day to build toward your goal. Just do something. Keep moving. The Bible says, anything that's dead, don't move. Let's get to moving. And the more you move, the more you live. That's my preach.
Come on, man. And the Bible also says faith without works is dead.
Come on.
So therefore, we got to do the works in association with the faith that we can do it. So we can believe. Everything starts with belief, right? We believe we can do it, right? Now, and we got to truly believe that. But then we got to have the actions to match that belief, because that's going to help us. But then that's also a walking testimony for those that are watching us.
Come on.
Because they going to hear what we say, because, we can both talk a good game. But then they're going to be like, all right, what's fam doing, though?
What's doing?
I can show you better than I can tell you, right?
That's it. That's
true. Why this thing is so important. And that's why, to me, what you represent is extremely important, because you're not only talking it and helping others, you're not pushing, you're pulling, because you're doing it yourself. You're setting the example. And brother, I salute you, and I want to encourage you to continue doing that.
Thanks, Coach Mike. I appreciate it. I almost like you ready to preach. I'm like,
look, you know what, man? We as we communicate, man, when two or more are gathered together. We let the spirit move, brother. That's how we flow. Look, and I'm gonna be honest. And I tell everybody, dude, it's not me, it's what's flowing through me. So whatever's flowing through, that's why I just I'm out the way and we let this thing move. And we know that the spirit moving here and doing this thing. So look, we just get out the way and let it roll.
Amen. As a matter of fact, this year, last year was all about the physical. This year's spiritual for me.
Come on.
So I'm going to a new level in the spirit, and I have to be very careful, because we as a world now, we are actually what word I want to say that's not conflicting. We're more easygoing. So I have to watch, because I be wanting to quote scripture. Sometimes, if you ever watch me do my videos, sometimes if you are really keen to me, you may hear me say something that's biblical. So I'm really trying to learn the proper way to what word I'm looking for, the proper way to be spiritual, but not be so spiritual, because I don't want to deflect from the message, but encourage to come closer to what really the goal is. So I'm being, just know that it's trying to come out, but hopefully I'm coming across well, man.
No, I'm gonna tell you, brother, like full transparency.
Yeah.
If it's in your heart and it's there for you to share, you're supposed to share it.
Yeah.
And those that are supposed to receive it are those that are supposed to receive it.
Okay.
And those that are supposed to reject it are those that are supposed to reject it. Like as a speaker, what's interesting, I can be on a stage and let's just say there's 100 people in a room, right? I know 100 people aren't going to resonate with what I'm saying, right? But if I catch the eyes of 12 or 13 people in there that are on the edge of their seat, who am I speaking to? I'm speaking to them.
You're right.
So to me, leaving a room like that is not about getting a standing ovation and everybody is clapping or whatever. It's about those folks that were supposed to connect with the message. Did their life change from this? Right. So my encouragement to you when it comes to that is don't run from who you are. Yeah. Right. If you feel led to say something, if you feel led to quote a scripture, it's just like, look, that's what you believe. That's who you are. Right. Gotcha. Y'all can get down or whatever. I'm not pushing you away. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to work with you if you have a different belief system. Right. You know what I'm saying? I'm just letting you know who I am. Right.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So don't run from it, man. I'm going to tell you what's interesting. We also find that and it goes back to what you were saying earlier about having conviction and how you operate. And when you start to have some detractors and some folks who are kind of pushing against what you're doing, you kind of get a little bit of wind to know that, all right, maybe I must be doing something. I'm ruffling some feathers. I'm not trying to make you comfortable. I'm trying to make change. You said you're trying to wake OGs up. Right?
That's right.
And so if you're holding back, you might be detracting from the message of waking the OGs up.
Ah, I
So
like
always,
that.
yeah, keep that in mind
Okay.
as when you feel led to do something, man, dude. You don't, if you led by the right thing, man, don't stop it. Don't
Okay.
stop the flow, brother.
We may need to have a second podcast
Let's
after the
do it.
change and
Yeah.
let you know what, because I've been pondering quite a bit on that,
Mhm.
just to open up. Again, my background is definitely church, Kojic raised,
Mhm.
a lot of transition since then to now.
Mhm.
But what's in you is eventually gonna come out.
That's
So
it, dude. You can't run from it. You can't, dude. Let me tell you what's so crazy about that. It's like we can't run from who we are, right?
right,
You can run, but you can't hide.
right,
Eventually, you can try to suppress. Eventually, it's like, man, look, I got to be who I am, right?
right.
It is so freeing. There are so many of us, even in corporate spaces, and I find this doing coaching sessions. There are so many individuals who struggle in life because they feel like they have to put on a mask or put on a costume to go and walk in their corporate environment and speak a certain way and act a certain way or whatever, and they
Right.
can't wait till that doggone bell ring or till that the clock hits 5:30 and they can get in their car, take their tie off, kick their shoes off, turn their music up,
Right.
the crib, and turn the game on. It's just like, because they've had to suppress so much throughout the day.
That's
One of
true.
the things that I want, like you said, you want to wake OGs up. My whole thing is, my calling is to encourage, empower, and enhance individuals into maximum impact and fulfillment, because I'm tired of people sleepwalking through life. You know what I'm saying? Not being who you fully are. And so if there's something inside of you that needs to get out, dude, you're doing yourself and those that you're supposed, these OGs that you're called to wake up. Because check this out. They not going to wake up unless you wake them up.
Ooh, okay.
So think about that. The
Okay.
OGs that's supposed to wake up ain't going to wake up unless you wake them up.
Okay.
Because you're Coach OG. You're the one that's charged with doing that.
Yes.
So if you come half stepping, there's some OG that gonna die of diabetes because he couldn't hear your message because you ain't bring it the way you're supposed to bring it.
You done said something, Coach Mike.
Think about it. Think about it, brother. Think
about
it. Brother.
You're right.
Yeah. Don't shortchange them. It's somebody wife, somebody kids that need their OG daddy to be there.
I like that.
And you here to wake them up.
Okay.
All right.
It's on now, man.
It's on and popping, brother. I'm loving it. So look, before we get out of here, man, I know on everybody needs to follow. I am Don Burch on IG. Your website is the OG Fit Club. OG Fit Club. Yeah. Visit. I put that in the show notes. The OGFitClub.com. Anything that you want to put out there for anybody, man, you got the floor, my brother.
Gotcha. Hey, I appreciate you, Coach Mike D. Looks like we got a relationship that we're gonna keep going. Ultimately, we brothers, as far as in spirit, as well as in OG status. Yes. For people listening, you already gave the plugs, how you can find me. For what I want you to know is I am the real deal when it comes to being an OG. I'm turning 50 in a few months. A few weeks. Turning 50 in February the 4th. Wow. What I want you to take from this is you can do better, man. You can do better, meaning you can always do better with looking good, feeling good, and be good. It's all about making sure you take care of yourself, because if you're not taking care of yourself, the people around you don't get the real you. So don't come up short. Don't give up. It's all about changing, all about accepting the change. You got to see it before you be it, all right? That's it.
I love it. And look, and ladies, all of y'all that are connected to an OG, remember this, OGs need love too.
Like that. OG wisdom.
Yeah, wisdom. Dig it. Well, hey, as always, everybody out there, make sure to follow Coach Mike D on social media. Visit CoachMikeD.com. And until next time, y'all be blessed, well, and wise. And I'll holler at you. All right, peace. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and follow Coach Mike D everywhere on social media. Y'all be blessed, well, and wise.